At 0515 hours local time, a dramatic battlefield incident has once again highlighted the growing role of unmanned aerial systems in the war between Ukraine and Russia, as reports emerged of a Ukrainian drone strike targeting a Russian military column moving toward Crimea. The attack, which allegedly disrupted an entire convoy of military vehicles, underscores the increasing effectiveness of precision drone operations against conventional ground formations. According to preliminary battlefield accounts circulating through military monitoring channels, the convoy was traveling along a key logistical route used to transport personnel, armored vehicles, fuel, and ammunition toward Russian positions in and around occupied Crimea. Moments before reaching a strategic junction, a Ukrainian drone reportedly identified the column and directed an attack that resulted in multiple explosions. Videos shared online appear to show thick black smoke rising from several vehicles, while secondary explosions continued for several minutes, suggesting that at least one ammunition or fuel truck may have been hit. Independent verification of the footage remains limited, and officials on both sides have provided differing accounts regarding the scale of the damage. Military analysts note that modern drone operations rarely rely on a single aircraft acting completely alone. Even when only one drone is visible in released footage, it may be conducting reconnaissance, laser designation, target correction, or battle damage assessment, while artillery, loitering munitions, or additional drones contribute to the strike. This makes determining the exact sequence of events difficult without official confirmation. If confirmed, the incident would represent another example of Ukraine's continued effort to disrupt Russian supply lines supporting military operations in southern Ukraine and Crimea. Logistics routes connecting mainland Russia with the Crimean Peninsula have become increasingly important since the beginning of the full-scale invasion, making military convoys attractive targets for Ukrainian forces seeking to slow reinforcements and reduce combat effectiveness. Defense experts have repeatedly emphasized that destroying logistics assets, including fuel tankers, engineering vehicles, ammunition trucks, and command vehicles, can produce effects that extend far beyond the immediate physical damage. Even a relatively small strike may temporarily halt an entire convoy while commanders assess the situation, clear damaged vehicles, and search for additional threats. Satellite imagery and open-source intelligence have previously documented the heavy use of roads and rail connections leading into Crimea. These transport corridors serve as vital supply arteries for Russian forces operating in southern Ukraine. Any interruption along these routes has the potential to complicate military planning and delay the movement of equipment. Ukraine has significantly expanded its use of domestically developed drones throughout the conflict. Long-range strike drones, first-person view (FPV) systems, reconnaissance aircraft, and naval drones have become central elements of Kyiv's military strategy. These systems offer relatively low-cost methods of engaging targets that would otherwise require more expensive missiles or aircraft. Russia has also invested heavily in drone warfare, employing reconnaissance platforms, loitering munitions, and attack drones across multiple sectors of the front. As a result, both militaries have entered an intense technological competition involving electronic warfare, signal jamming, artificial intelligence-assisted targeting, and rapidly evolving counter-drone measures. Military observers caution against drawing broad conclusions from a single battlefield incident. Wartime information is frequently incomplete, and casualty figures, equipment losses, and operational outcomes often change as additional evidence becomes available. Claims made by either side should therefore be evaluated carefully until independently verified. The strategic significance of Crimea remains central to the conflict. Since Russia's annexation of the peninsula in 2014, the region has served as a major military hub supporting operations in the Black Sea and southern Ukraine. Ukrainian officials have repeatedly stated that disrupting military infrastructure connected to Crimea forms part of their broader campaign to weaken Russia's operational capabilities. Recent months have seen an increase in reported strikes targeting logistics hubs, ammunition depots, bridges, airfields, and command centers associated with Russian military activity. Analysts suggest these operations are intended to stretch Russian air defenses while forcing commanders to disperse supplies over a wider geographic area. For Russian forces, protecting supply convoys has become increasingly challenging. Mobile air defense systems, electronic warfare vehicles, camouflage techniques, and route changes have all been employed to reduce vulnerability to drone attacks. Nevertheless, small unmanned aircraft remain capable of identifying weaknesses, especially when convoys are concentrated or stationary. Although the full extent of the reported strike remains uncertain, the incident illustrates the continuing transformation of modern warfare. Small unmanned systems now influence battlefield decisions once dominated by tanks, aircraft, and long-range artillery. Whether used for reconnaissance, precision attack, or target adjustment, drones have become indispensable tools for both sides. As fighting continues across multiple sectors, military experts expect drone operations to remain a defining feature of the conflict. Future engagements are likely to involve increasingly sophisticated autonomous systems, enhanced electronic warfare capabilities, and faster decision-making enabled by real-time battlefield intelligence. At the time of publication, neither Ukraine nor Russia had released comprehensive official assessments confirming the exact losses resulting from the reported convoy attack. Independent analysts continue to examine available imagery and video evidence to determine the scope of the damage. While the target network was being established, Ukrainian engineers executed the second stage of the operation by developing specialized munitions for destroying howitzers, focusing particularly on burning through their barrels. This was very important because a direct hit on the barrel would eliminate the system's weakest and most important point. This is enough to remove the weapon from combat and make rapid repair extremely difficult, due to the Russian defense industry struggling to produce new barrels. Then the Ukrainian operators prepared the final strike phase, ready to launch 800 drones over 2 nights simultaneously across key directions. Instead of allowing Russia to react to isolated losses, Ukraine compressed hundreds of strikes into 2 nights. Russian batteries had little time to disperse, recover damaged systems, or adapt their positions. Follow-up Ukrainian drone observation confirmed destruction, while intercepted Russian communications revealed the scale of the disruption. The consequences should not be underestimated, as Russia has lost 171 guns outright, while another 60 were damaged. 3 artillery brigades normally provide fire support to multiple frontline formations, and their disappearance means fewer Russian shells suppressing Ukrainian positions, weaker bombardments before assaults, reduced counter-battery fire, and far less protection for Russian infantry. Most importantly, Russia cannot simply replace these losses tomorrow, as reserve guns must be removed from storage, inspected, repaired, transported forward, supplied with ammunition, and assigned to crews. Russia increasingly depends on aging Soviet stockpiles, which were already depleted to 35% of pre-war levels as of last year. At the same time, replacement barrels and experienced artillery personnel are more limited than ever in the fifth year of the war, with Russia able to produce only 5 barrels per month. Now, Russia is left without options, as reconstituting the destroyed formations could take more than 6 months. While moving artillery systems from quieter sectors only transfers the shortage elsewhere and creates new vulnerabilities. As a result, Russia cannot conduct a major assault, as it would need massed artillery due to the Russian offensive doctrine, which depends on bombardment to suppress defenders before infantry advances. By eliminating 3 brigades of firepower, Ukraine has severely damaged Russia's ability to prepare and sustain large assaults. Combined with continuing vehicle losses and logistic strikes, this operation has completely denied Moscow the artillery concentration required for any major offensive this year. Russia will therefore become even more dependent on small infantry infiltration groups, often numbering fewer than 5 soldiers. However, these troops are already advancing and dying without meaningful armored support, and now many will also be thrown into the meat grinder without sufficient artillery cover.